What's up YouTube, this is Slaan here from Northern Lan, and today we are doing something a little bit different and we are going back to the city blocks for Random Gen Cities. Now, for those people who aren't familiar, about a good 5 or 6 months ago I designed the first lot of city blocks that added the subway and the sewer system, which were covered in a few early videos by myself and Big C 90210, and it's been quite a while since I've actually looked at them. The last version that I released was around about the time Alpha 13 came out after the new block changes, and since then most of my time's been spent working in Project Slaan. So the city blocks themselves, they never really got as much love as what they probably should have, and since Alpha 13's came out there's been a few little bugs because of how deep the prefabs themselves were. So I figured after brainstorming a little bit, I had a couple of ideas and got the itch to come back and work a little bit on them. So this is just a little preview of the new design, what's going to be different and how it's going to work. So first and foremost, the main change that you'll see is I've shifted one layer of the sewer beneath the roads themselves. The reason for this being is a lot of people aren't really going to build much on the roads, so structural integrity shouldn't really be affecting much in this sort of area. And secondly, the city blocks themselves are only 25 layers deep, so what this means is there'll be no more spawning custom hubs and having floating prefabs with an invisible ground layer because the city blocks were too low. They should spawn on every single seed. I haven't had a single problem with them so far, but as you can see they are still very basic. I mean, I don't even have the train tracks and the subway. These are actually scratch built. I haven't used anything from the old prefabs themselves, but the patterns are going to be vaguely the same. You can see the water area is looking slightly different, and once I've got some loot in there, there's going to be a few different ways to access each layer from the different parts within the city blocks themselves. But the idea is to keep it the same but make it as different as possible. And I know that sounds a little bit arse backwards, but I kind of feel like I'm making a mini sort of maze. At the minute, as you can see, at all the layers you can basically run in a single direction and cross every single city block themselves, which is one thing that I want to eliminate. I like the idea of making a bit more of a maze-like sort of structure where, especially on PvP servers, a lot of people can occupy a similar sort of space but still have a bit of trouble into running into each other. And I'm hoping when you come down the sewers to hide from the hordes and the zombies that there's going to be a lot more chance to bump into people and all that sort of thing. So as you can see, this is what's going to be the subway level. We'll get the tracks in there. I'm going to maybe look again at doing a couple of variations of the subway cart itself, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do the station this time round. What I'll like to do is get the actual pattern for the tunnels set out, and it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge doing the layers the way I have. I think what we're probably going to get is this is just the outside edge, unfortunately, because of the way I've done the road on the sewer under the road, sorry. The outside edge of the city is going to have this little bit of a wall, but it'll be a small sacrifice to make because we have manholes. Yes, it's a vault lid, but I mean, come on, that's the closest thing we're going to get to a manhole at the minute, so I enjoyed it. It's going to be pretty cool. The surface layers themselves, obviously these are plain. I've disabled all the prefabs spawning just while I'm working on the tunnels beneath, but I think I'm just going to copy the station and the bridge sections and the raised train track sections over, and maybe he's looking at introducing a few new sort of surface layers. I think we'll probably get about 4 minimum individual city block tiles. One thing I'm going to work on in particular, especially beneath these sort of areas under the road, is make some stoppers in each of these tunnels. And by stopper, what I mean is maybe wall some random sections off. So, you know, on one city block, maybe give you north-south access and I'll run through, but the east and west sides might be blocked off into little control rooms with all the consoles and the new fancy blocks that we've got. Obviously Alpha 14's due out very soon, and if the screenshots on Mad Mole's dev blogs anything to go by, we should be seeing a lot more interesting things with blocks as well. So the curve shapes and stuff like that, I can see a lot of use for them. But what we've got is the wider tunnels, so there's going to be a little bit more space to play around with different ideas. One thing in particular, in the old system where the water tunnel, it ran directly beneath the upper, what I would call the upper subway tunnel, sewer tunnel, sorry. It has all the pipes and stuff in the wall, and I kind of see this level is maybe this is where the communication companies and all that sort of thing might lay down the fibre optic pipes or sewer pipes or water pipes or what have you. The lower layer itself, which is accessible via the storm drains, this is going to be the more traditional sort of sewer waste sort of system. And we've got the bridges and stuff like that in there. And I like the idea of forcing people to run through water. Obviously it's detrimental to your survival. You will get cold, you'll get wet, and you're going to want to try and avoid it. And I'm hoping, because we've got a little bit more space down here, I can work a little bit more on some entity spawners, and we'll get some zombies in there as well, because there's a lot of genuine sort of concern that, especially on PvP servers again, that these places, the tunnels and all that, make a safe haven where you can basically avoid all of the PvE aspects of the game. So zombies, I'd always intended to get them on, but every time I've tried it with the zombie spawners, there's null ref errors and all sorts of things going on that I find quite hard to track down. So it's always been easier from my perspective just to miss the zombies out completely. But I'm going to put a lot more focus in this version of the city blocks to actually making these not such a safe haven and a bit more of a threat to travel through. Now, the ultimate objective is I prefer to play PvP. I strongly believe in everybody's right to be a dick, and it was just a way to give people the means to sneak in and out of the city. So these little holes that we see in the ceiling that lead up to the roads are going to be repeated in the centre of the city tiles themselves. Now, we have nothing as fancy as the vault hatches just yet. These are just placeholder entrances that'll take you straight down to the subway sort of level. I haven't decided how I'm going to do the entrance to the subway station, but it'll probably look similar to how the other one did. One of the main reasons that I decided to tackle these is both Magoli and Stallion's Den in their respective packs, the combo pack and the Mega City pack, have took their own different approaches in chopping and removing layers from the subway blocks themselves, and I totally understand where they're coming from, because there's a lot of people posting that things aren't working, or this is broken, or that's broken, and basically the problem is a lot of people don't understand the issues that we have with the prefabs clipping out of the world, and that forces them not to spawn. So they kind of butchered, I would say, my lovely pieces of work. Obviously some people just don't realise you can keep flipping the seed until you get a one that works. Some people don't have the patience to do something like that, so I totally understand why they've done it, but I figured it's been long enough. I'm just going to come back and I'm going to do a proper version designed to fit within the 25 layers that we now have to play with. So hopefully within the next few weeks these should be I don't know if I'll get them out before 14. I'm not exactly in a rush to get them out before 14. It would be nice, but I think there's going to be a little bit of work to do with them after 14 comes out, pending block changes and things like that. So we'll see what happens. We might see a sneaky little release over the next few days. It depends mainly on how much time I have to spare to put into it all. But as you can see, the foundation for the tunnels is set. The main thing I need to decide now is how I want to connect the water level of the sewers to the upper level. And like I say, because I've got all this space beneath the roads and I don't have to worry about collapsing buildings by digging all this area out, we could see some some slightly different things. I can see maintenance hatches, maybe like I said earlier on, little control rooms. It might not be too unreasonable to expect some surface damage and access into the tunnel itself, and we might get some car crashes or some sort of explosions going on. And the lovely little storm drains. We'll just spare a moment to stare at these, because out of all the things that happen by accident, they are the best example of the seamless blocks fitting against a solid block and working really nice. And I think once the hatch and the ladders are in there, I think they look really cool. So for now, I hope this is wetting your lips and got the appetite burning. Like I say, I'll keep you updated. I'll maybe get another video out in a week or so, where if the prefabs themselves aren't ready, I can at least show you what I've been working on. Now that the base is set, it shouldn't take too long to get some details in, and I'm almost at the stage where I'm ready to start like doing the fiddly little bits by hand and then extracting and saving them. So, like I say, fingers crossed over the next week or two, we'll start to see some serious progress on these. And then I think hopefully 14 is going to be out, and we'll get back into Project Slaan hunting and see what we can do with that. So for now, I hope you like what you have seen, and a big thank you for all the subscribes and the comments and the likes. I appreciate it a lot, and it's good incentive for us to keep on doing this. I know I mentioned in my last video the 25 subscriber special is due out, and a lot of it's been set up. I'm just waiting to get a bit of time, probably a couple of hours and some people together to finish that video off, but you can expect that one soon as well. So for now, this is Slaan signing off, and I'll catch you next time.